where France's ambassador has delivered an extraordinary criticism of the Morrison government and the Prime Minister, accusing him of trashing the two countries' relationship and stabbing France in the back. Let's go live to Jonathan Lee. It's clear the Prime Minister might want to move on, but that's easier said than done.
Kieran, it's good afternoon to you. It's very clear the French certainly aren't going to allow this to happen. Jean-Pierre Thebault's speech today was quite extraordinary for a number of reasons. He started at pains by pointing out just how close Australia and France are in terms of what both nations have sacrificed for liberty and freedom, and that our soldiers died on the Western Front trying to free the French. But what we have done, he says here, what the Morrison government has done, he says, is an act of deceit and betrayal of the greatest kind. And the reason the French are so upset here is not merely the fact that it's a $90 billion deal for 12 attack class submarines. They say it goes to the very heart of what they entered into with Australia. It was about setting up confidential communications channels. It was about exchanging top secrets of their submarines, which really are the prized possession of many, many nations. Australia, they say, walked away from that, which was a true stab in the back.
The deceit was intentional. And because there was far more at stake than providing submarines, because it was a common agreement on sovereignty, sealed with the transmission of highly classified data, the way it was handled was plainly a stab in the back.
They're also frustrated, Kieran, because they say that the submarine was on track and on budget, and a joint communique has been signed between the nations agreeing that everything was okay.
It encompasses, agreed by both sides, the following sentence: the two countries underline the importance of the future submarine program. Do you agree on such a communique when there is the slightest doubt on something so massive as the official backbone of your cooperation? Maybe on Mars, but not that I know on this planet.
And Jonathan, what has the ambassador said about the prospects for the relationship between the two nations?
Well, the ambassador we expected he was going to lay out how the relationship could get back on track, but what is now very clear is the ball is firmly in Australia's court, and he raises the question how any other nations can now trust Australia.
We won't anymore buy on cheap words. We won't buy on promises of love. You know, love is good. Having proofs of love is much better. So, at the same time, you know, this is a golden opportunity. We can rebuild something substantial, but we start from very far away.
Yeah, just finally, Kieran, we saw Scott Morrison's press conference a short time ago. The question was put to him about this being an unprecedented low and the leaking of that text message to journalists. He was asked about that. He certainly didn't try to defend it other than to say this was really how he responded.
Personal messages between you and President Macron were leaked.
Well, I was very, very clear about what that communication was, and that was necessary given the matters that were raised. But I don't think there's any further profit for anyone in continuing down this path. We made the decision we needed to make in Australia's national interests. We understand the concerns and objections that have come in relation to that. They are understood when we made the decision, and this was the decision Australia needed to make in our national interests.
Kieran, we now also have the enormous issue of compensation. Money certainly needs to be given to the French, with Australia walking away from this contract. How long and protracted that negotiation process will be remains to be seen, but it will probably be ugly.
Yeah, it looks it, doesn't it? Jonathan,